Hey guys, here's part 2 of the PG Unleashed RX-78-2. So, what you see right now is phase 4. I showed off some of the other stuff, but I didn't go too much into detail. So, we're going to look at phase 5 first, and then we're going to come back to phase 4 and show off some stuff. I meant to do this before my vacation trip, but sorry, we got distracted with other stuff. So we're going to go ahead and open up and go straight into phase 5. I'm going to try to keep everything attached onwards. And there it is. So I will mention one thing. When I first tried this, before I went away, this broke down the middle in half. You may not be able to tell. I'm not even sure if you can see yeah, you can kind of see like there's a crack there. But hopefully with some cement glue and let time to sit, we can actually do this. So let's scroll down and start working from the feet on up. So down at the toes, this dark red part comes up. Also, I will mention before I start is that he is two-toned across the board, like a dark red, a light red, a white, and a grayish white. A yellow and a darker, more goldenly mustard yellow. There's a blue and a darker blue. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, so the red, it's like the two-tone reds. Well, actually, right here is easier to see on the waist. Actually, let me add a little light source, offhand light source to show this. So the red, so this part red is a lighter color from this part here on the side, which is darker. And if it focuses, as you can see, yeah, there are two different shades of red there. Yeah, and that split is supposed to be there. That's actually gray underneath. Or, if this makes sense, the foot is a better observation. Most of the foot is, you know, lighter red, but that toe part is darker red. I think right here on the knees, right there, like, actually, the side of the legs, that's a good spot. So you have a white and you have that grayish white. So that's a good indicator right there to show. The yellow, you can kind of see it right there on his front skirts. And the blue, which is kind of the hardest one to notice, because I didn't notice it myself, but it is there. But up here up top, so right here is a one blue, but up there on the shoulder, by the arms, this is a darker blue. So he is rocking two-tone blues here, and I think that's the only spot. I wouldn't say there's more, but those are the only obvious ones I know of. So yeah, let's go ahead and scroll down, tilt down, and start the process of going from phase 4 to phase 5. So you open up these parts on the toes. That's the first part, and then there's parts on the leg armor or ankle armor that you open up. Then come to the back. There's a panel here on both legs. Maybe this one will be easier. They come up, but I keep hitting them back down. So, yeah. Open up those. And that's the only... No, there's one more back one. Right up top. So this is all on the back side. On the front, at the knees, these open up, and down below them These open up. I feel like I just heard something close, and I hope nothing did. Oh, that. So we're about halfway done. Now we got these front parts. Pinch the sides to loosen them up and have it come out. Don't worry about it snapping back. And make sure the ankle armor is down. I'm not hoping that I don't. And I'm afraid I just broke something off. Piece of white plastic chipped off from there. Okay, this one is better. I'd rather have it come off than, you know, go breaking in two again. But yeah, this is basically what the lower legs look like. We're almost done here. You also got, well, we should be tilted upwards. So we also got the panels here. And also all four panels here on the sides of the leg, they open up. It's easier to just lift them upwards, pull out a little bit, and then just tilt up, pivot them upwards. I will mention one thing about this. If you ever grab them by the waist, because if you grab them by the chest, it will easily come undone. So now we're going up towards the waist. Next up, this panel here. Open that up. These panels, if you pull them out from the top or the bottom a little bit, they open up. So you do that, and then find where the hole is. As you can see here, there's a hole like right here on this side. So that means we pull out from that side, and it will open up. And we just do the same for the other three. And try not to close up any other panels. Like I said, it's not best sometimes to go from the top or the bottom, though. The bottom works sometimes, the top works as well. Also, this thing right here in the middle, push it in. Normally, even when this thing is normally just standing, it is always pushed in, and it bugs me. It's the same way with the master grade too. Whoops. I guess he doesn't like me talking about him because this is popping off. So there's that. So all four are open. One more thing to do. What you want to do is grab here on the front and also grab at the top on the back. And what you want to do is, I might have to separate this. So what you want to do is pull down on them. And when you do, you kind of notice how the body was shifting upwards. You're raising up the torso and the waist mainly. So once you do that, that's pretty much it. Next up, we're gonna come to the back. Let's go to the back pack first. I'm not gonna raise this thing up, so this panel comes up. These panels here open up. And these ones above the thrusters, they come up too. One thing to note, because these are open, and if you turn on the beam saber, while you can still see the lights back there, you can also see it, since I got it on the right side, you can kind of see some that red light kind of flashing through. So that's all on the back side. Next up, we're going to get to the arms and then finish up with the body and the head. So for the arms, well, this one's showing me what I need to do. So you flip these panels up on both sides, but also these panels on the arms are not the most secured in there. But also take the shoulders plates and push them up and lift them up. Do this on both sides. Push them up and pull them out, swing them out a little bit. So far we're mostly halfway done. Now there is a panel right here that you lift up. You do this for both sides. This is the one that gives me the most trouble. Yeah, there we go. And now I gotta get this thing back open. We're almost done with the arms. We come to the back and lift these up. They do clip, kind of lock in place, so they will stay locked in. And now we have the chest to do. The chest, mainly, it's not much to it. These blue panels above the vents, we just lift those up. And lift a little bit up on this. It will kind of push it out, but don't go full crazy where you just knock this blue piece off. So just lift it enough. And I think I just saw a light or something in there. Yeah, you can see a little light. And look, so I figured out how to do this. So now he's actually lighting up while we're doing this. Aw. Come on, light up again. Okay, if you hold it out too long, it will do that. It will turn off. But he's lighting up. So basically that is it. I would say leave this open a little bit, but don't push it out too far, otherwise you're going to hit the lights. Next up, the the head. And you open up, that's mainly the ears. Like I said, I am not going to try to do too much with this camera. So, it's the ears. Oh, the ears and the top. So let me get that other ear, because I can't do this one-handed. Even if I know where to find the grip for it, I can't do that. But yeah, this is basically, with everything open and exposed as it should be. Oh, these things should be up, up, Open, open. Yeah, so this is basically what he would look like. And don't let the front skirts look closed because they should be open. So yeah, this is basically the Phase 5. Everything that you can have opened up. And yes, the cockpit, this cockpit area does open up. So you can do that. And have your little armor. You can have your little armor showing. There he goes. There he is, sitting in there. Nice. But yeah, that's pretty much all of Phase 5. This is pretty much it. Because I can look at the book and it'll show, yeah, this is all you do. And I already kind of did practice this once. And honestly, he does stand up pretty well. Like this, he's not too back heavy or anything. And even with the extra height given to him, it doesn't hinder him at all. Like, he's just like, I'm rolling with it. I was seeing if I could try to light him up again. But don't think I will be able to. I thought I had it, but, you know, when you try to do something and it's so complicated. Now, the only sad thing is you can kind of see, there is some bleeding out in the neck area, but that is fine though. Even if you could kind of tilt the head down if you want to kind of hide it. But overall, that panel went back up. Like, he looks great. It looks solid. So yeah, you can kind of have them sitting here like this. And no, there is no light that will bleed. Well, turn off. As far as I can tell you, there's no light that will bleed down in there. Due to that, how all the light could bleed or whatever, or where it can bleed to, none would actually... I mean, I think you could get a little bit to bleed down in there, but not enough to really make it, like, you know, show through. And even if I was to show the inside of his torso, so, like, here's the thing. Light would have to shine through there. You need a clear piece or something to shine in down in there. Now, let me grab my flash. Let me turn on that light so you can see this. So, right here in the middle is a clear piece. And that's the one that's operated on the neck. So it actually hits that button. It's finicky, but it works. Now, if you look at this on the other side, that clear piece that pushes the button is sitting underneath a clear piece that's running towards the vents. So that's how that light bleeds out. Now, that's all swollen on, but here's what it looks like from underneath. that clear piece that's pushing a button, I don't think it would squeeze this. Oh, no, I'm wrong. So, it actually could bleed in there. But I have never noticed it bleeding in there enough to actually work. So, like, I'm going to use the beam saber. And I'm going to bleed the light in here. Now, this may not have a strong enough bleed. Oh, no, never mind. Because the lighting is strong enough to bleed down in there. Well, I say strong. If the light is aiming downwards, it is. But this light isn't aiming downwards. It's aiming forward to bleed into the vents. So I really don't know what to really say about that. Maybe I'll do a little test run afterwards. Or something near the end of the show. But yeah, that's... Oh. All that force pushed you back down. But yeah, that's basically the whole concept of it. But I would say light could bleed down in there, but I'm not I'm not 100% sure on that. Just based on my perception of it. Wow, that thing just plopped down in there kind of hard, and it hit the button. Also, this button is kind of sensitive too, from what it feels like. Because even when I try to turn it on, it's like, yeah, it's going to turn itself right back off. So, let's go ahead and get back into phase 4. And, oh boy, there it goes. See, this part was the one part I did not like. Because it will just... It kind of does that to itself. Luckily for me, a lot of this stuff kind of closes itself back up, so easy enough. And basically, just to put it back to phase 4, you just redo everything you did. I do know when it's down like this, it is kind of hard to try to get that thing to work, but not super hard. Because you can still do the same method trick I was using. And get him back all the way back to, you know, his normal look is actually not that hard. It's pretty fast. Now, I'm curious about something. Well, okay, that didn't work. I want to try something before I'm, like, done with this, because I do want to show off the phase 4. So I'm going to hit this button, like, 4 times. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to drop it in. And it got cut off. This button is kind of sensitive on that button. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. Okay, so let's see if there's any lights in there. Kind of hard to tell. Because like I said, if the light is strong enough to bleed through, I would say it might work. I mean, I kind of tested it just now that it would. But these vents are just going in that color of blue and like green. So I'm not sure if it actually is going to show. I need a different color to show through. let's see, what about pink? Oh wait, I can see red. I see red. Yeah, so it actually is capable of bleeding down in there. So yeah. It's not as strong as when I was, you know, shining the light down in there, but there is some striking down in there. So yes, it is catching down in there. Okay. So I've been proven wrong. Now, I think that only works with the core block because that core block has that opening in it. Because if you use the core fighter, I don't think it will work. Just because one, if you look at the core fighter, it has that well, yeah, that clear piece might make it harder. So, and I haven't tried it. And hold on. No, actually, it wouldn't work with the core fighter because this blue part on top would actually stop it. And oh man, this core fighter feels so different from other core fighters. This is why I always prefer the core block, which is the same reason why I think I'm using the core block and the master grade. So, since we're back in phase 4, let's go ahead and... I won't go into details about articulation because it's still the same from when I showed off in phase 3. Because, you know, arms can rotate 360. They can go out that far. They can rotate below the shoulder. They are double jointed. The wrist rotates, they're on ball joints. And you have different manipulators or different style hands, really in this case. Waist can go side to side. It has an ab crunch. The front skirts move. All the skirt armor moves. Front, back, and side. Legs can only go that far because it's actually hitting the track on the inside. It is actually hitting up in here. So the reason why legs can't go too far is because it is hitting where the well, actually, let me just turn it up. The armor is actually hitting right there on the frame for the skirting armor. So yeah, it's hitting on that, so that's why I can't go forward or backwards that much. It's like the same angle both ways. Sideways, it can go all the way out. Knees are double jointed, and I was worried that because these are double jointed and you get the full bend. Basically, they're touching. And you got hips, you got ankle swivel, and you got an ankle bend like that, and toe bend. And I think you got some foot bend too. See, this is why I was worried because, like, you know, that always seems to happen. So if you have to grab this thing, grab it by this part, not by the top half. Also, I think it's because this might have been trying to separate itself that it keeps doing that. Now, just like he can do in the anime or other stuff, you can store his main stuff. So, first up, we have the beam rifle. As for moving parts, this secondary handle moves. The scope moves. The camera swivels. As for moving parts also, this back part here lifts up and this front part lifts up. So you have those that move. Also, a nice detail touch that this master grade does, this perfect grade does, and this is the only one I've seen do this, and that is he actually has a trigger that moves. So that trigger actually can move. It actually moves back, so it is like he's firing. And he also has a peg that swings out. Those hollow on one side. Hollow on one side, but you know, you'd probably be looking at it from the front. Well, front side anyways, like so. But this is also how it will peg in on his back skirt. So right here you have this little kind of rectangular or circular piece. Well, rotate that around and there you go. You have a peg slot. Kinda wish they gave us a bazooka too, but they didn't. And you just peg that in. It doesn't go like pegging all the way in. It just pegs in enough. And for some reason it's not super tight in there. I mean, it gets in there and it holds, but it's really loose. So there's that. Keep that in mind. There's also another alternative. Just like the master grade or other ones, you can store it on the shield. So as you see, this shield, standard fare shield, it can actually slide up and down on the track. Got a handle that moves up and down, and you also have this that moves on a few spots, and on the inside right there is a magnet, and like so, if you open up one of the either arm panel back here, you will reveal a little thing sitting there. That is a magnet. And basically, once you line it up and everything, you plug it in, it's going to sit in there. And you can actually, you know, work this around however you want. If you want it out, you want it forward, you can do whatever. This is not the right hand to be holding the shield, but you know, it's not. You can do this for either arm. You just, you know, just rotate this, like, you know, do a 180 from this side to this side. But if you want to put it on the other hand, you can. Now, if you want to store this, like the other one does, you take that handle, push it inwards so this peg is facing outwards, and basically have your shield ready to store, because you're going to use this peg to peg it into the back. Now you can slide it up and down. Now, if you also want to store the shield back here, the beam rifle, you can. You got two holes up here, and you just peg it into one of them. Just peg it into the right one like so. The left one like that. So if you look at it from the front, you can kind of see it. If you want to, you can hide the scope. But yeah, you can have your beam rifle stored away. Also, one more thing. See, unlike the other ones where this part would be, just, poke through, this one actually comes with a cover. So that is a clear piece, but right behind it, well, the sandwich between all this white part right here is actually right there. So it's like a little tube-shaped piece, and it fits in there just nicely. So back to what I was saying. Plugging this all together. If we go to the Gundam's backside, lift up this top part, and there is a little, this part right here in the middle, we swing it out and close this back. So now we have a peg and a hole, and we just slot it in like so, and now he can carry his stuff right into combat. And this looks so nice and well put together, because this kind of thing is godsend. I love when I can have a Gundam carry all of his stuff into battle with him. He can carry his shield on his back, he can carry the beam rifle down here on his waist, even though it might be loose, and he can hold both beam sabers. And speaking of which, you can do all the iconic poses that he did in the anime, the last shooting and all that. So you come with an assortment of hands. So what you see is one pair. These are the open hands. Usually these are the ones you use during the building. Well, that one or the fist. So if you don't want to have an open hand, you can use these. And they're all the same though, because it's gray. It's literally a gray, a silver, a gray, and a black. They're all built the same. And each of them has this little ball joint there, so they can swivel in and out. I mean, they can pivot inwards. Though this one won't pivot too far inwards. There is a wrist joint in there too. And there's pistons in there too. Yeah, this one has pistons. Pistons in the he has pistons up here in this area, and he also has pistons down here in this area, which I don't think you would have been able to see. Oh, that part broke. Yeah, they're right there. So those are pistons right there. Well, I was gonna glue you, hold you together, but since you're gonna be like this most of the time, I'm not worried about it. So if you want to have hold the beam rifle, you need the trigger hand, and because they do everything in pairs, you get 2 trigger hands. Oh, well, the piece was still attached. I guess the beam rifle knows where it wants to stay. So to do this, you gotta treat this like high grades. Because, you know, there's half a section and another half of a section. I will admit there's one. So, and I didn't put them in there because they will keep coming out. So, inside of this index finger, or the trigger finger here, it's supposed to be a little piece, a little gray piece, but that gray piece does not stay and it keeps sliding out, so I opted to not leave it in there. Because it will keep sliding out and I'm afraid I was going to lose it, so, you know, I did the next best thing. Put it in the box. Also, because of this, that trigger will get moved backwards. Even if you have it forward, it will get pushed backwards. So, he has that. You can swap out the hand and boom. He has his beam rifle hand. His BR is in hand, and That last shooting, you can recreate that iconic pose. And honestly though, last shooting is one of the most iconic scenes really known to Gundam from that original, along with the Char kick and other stuff. But yeah, that's one of the most iconic. Heck, I think in some of the Gundam games, whenever you do the 1 year war, they literally call that mission like last shooting or something like that. But yeah, this is the iconic last shooting pose. You can do him like his first episode when he pulled out his beam saber and he was slashing, but I'm not going to do that because I don't want to mess with these joints. They're stiff enough as it is. Now, if you want him to hold his shield or beam saber, we're going to just do the beam saber because, you know, the power of the Jedi. Oh, wait, wrong show. So, grab the one with the holding hands, this one. This also works for the shield too, because you would just have to sandwich the shield in between, the handle in here. You sandwich the handle, camera. You will sandwich the handle in here, close it up, and then just, you know, work everything into place. And he actually holds it really well. And proof of that, let's show that right now. So like I said, you'll take the shield, take the handle, plug it in here, sandwich the hand on it, and then just plug this in on his hand. Make sure the thing is open, and I'm really gonna have to be doing this kind of blindly. Peg this back in hand. And there it is. And yeah, there he is. He's holding his shield. Now, you do get a little wiggle room with that because of the wrist, so you can kind of work with the shield in extra positions if you want to. Now, can he hold the shield upwards without that? Don't think he can, and I haven't tried it. I mean, if he's going to try to do a frontal block like so, he can. And actually, looking at this on camera, it actually looks pretty amazing and impressive. Or him, you know, looking through the visor. That's actually impressive, because if he was actually lighting up right now with that, you know, that would actually look really impressive. But yeah, the shield is more or less give him extra coverage of, you know, holding on his arm. But honestly, I think I wouldn't even have him hold it on his arm. I most likely would just have him have this thing stored on his back anyways. I mean, that's how I have the Master Grade stored on his back. Which is funny because you can kind of see the Master Grade in the background. Second shelf on the top, right next to the unicorn, because he's holding the beam rifle and beam saber. If you recognize the Excess Gundam, the second shelf from the top all the way on the right next to it, is, yeah, the RX-78, and he's holding the beam saber and beam rifle in hand with this shield on the back. I think the bazooka is in the box somewhere, but at least I think it is. Now, let's switch it over to the beam rifle. I mean, the beam saber. Now, there is, funny enough, there is a slight groove in his hand. There's a slight groove for that beam saber, and it's literally a perfect fit. Like, I took the look at it, it's a perfect fit for the beam saber handle. And this is any of the 3 beam saber handles, because they all have that kind of they all have that same groove indentation. So when you add that, and then you add let's add an LED to it. And yeah, he looks pretty menacingly. That looks pretty menacingly when you have a glowing beam saber. Like, seriously, you see that on a shelf somewhere, that's intimidating. And if you combine that, like if he was doing, oh god, yeah, see, I always worried about that. Like, I don't know why this always happens. I'm not sure if it's the core block. No, because if it's just the torso, like, the core block pushes itself out. The core block wants to slide out, but stored in here doesn't seem to make sense. As I was trying to do is, like, you know, if he was trying to slash downwards, he could look pretty intimidating. But yeah, overall, this is a perfect grade. My only real gripe is it keeps falling apart at the waist / ankles. Funny enough, like, this happens, even if, I think this happened once or twice to me in phase 3, like, it came apart. And, you know, I wasn't too worried about it, but it just happens. But yeah, overall, this is a great, perfect grade. It's the 3rd one on my list. It's the 3rd one for me. Which, honestly, I don't buy perfect grades that often, but this one I do like. It's going to go next to my 00 and Strike Freedom, which honestly you won't be able to see. Because, well, actually, maybe if yeah, you can see them down there. But yeah, it's pretty nice. I do like it. Sadly, all my other perfect grades, they had pink beams as well. That was kind of interesting to see this with a blue beam or something like that, but you know what? I can't be picky. But yeah, overall, it's a great buy. Like, the only thing I would say be mindful of is if you do buy one or plan on getting one, is just be mindful of the waist. Like, I don't know if this happens with the core fighter, but since I'm using the core block, it's sort of a thing. Also, I'm hoping, like, maybe, I doubt it would get an expansion set to get the bazooka or something, but I don't see why they didn't give us the bazooka, because then again, I think I've seen a few other perfect grades, they don't give a lot of stuff. Strike Freedom came with everything. 2 beam sabers, the beam rifles, 1 beam shield though. The 00 visor comes with everything. 2 beam sabers, the Genius Sword 2s, the Genius Sword 3, and effect parts for those. And extra stuff like missile pods. I don't know, I can't really say about others, like I know the Strike Perfect Grade the Strike Perfect Grade came with the beam rifle, shield, and armor Schneiders, and the Grand Slam. Strike Rouge got the L Striker pack with it. You know, we can get the L Striker for the normal strikers, getting the Sky Grasper. I don't know about the Gundam Mark II or the Zeta. I think Zeta just gets a beam rifle and the beam sabers, just like the new Master Grade did. Just beam rifle, beam saber, that's it. But I'm renting on. This is a great Perfect Grade. I'm glad I got it. Also, my only other gripe is also this, trying to make this thing light up. And Phase 5 is not hard to light up. It's actually really easy. But in Phase 4 like this, it's kind of it's sort of a pain, because sometimes I want to be like, alright, let's do this and see if it will light up. And then there's times like you think you got, well, there it goes, I got it to light up. And honestly, I don't think Phase 4 is meant to have it lighten up, because I think that is more so for Phase 5. Because normally the manual will tell you tilt the chest back and do this, pull this out and push it back in. But honestly though, when you push it up like that and you do this, it actually works. And also I think because the moment you push this in, it kind of pushes that button in there to keep it turned off. So yeah, there's that. But honestly, this ain't been on for too long. It's a Perfect Grade worth getting. Trust me. Hopefully they do more Perfect Grades like this in the future. And maybe if you do a light up gimmick, make it work in both forms, not just one. But yeah, this is like I said, JPS. I have other Master Grades to wait to come so I can build them and get those reviews up. So I'll see you guys later. Bye.